Jupiter Hell. Review key provided by Hyperstrange.
Hey, as I was editing the video, I did notice that it's hard to see the actual gameplay behind my character for this particular game. So stay tuned to after the end of the review to see more of it in a full screen perspective. Enjoy!
Jupiter Hell is a sort of turn-based, top-down, run-and-gun style of game that's based on the Doom series. The premises was to have the feel of Doom, but with some tactical thinking involved while mixing in the typical roguelike elements. There are a few things that bothers me about this game, but all in all, it's kind of fun. What makes this game tick for me? Well, let's dive in. Gameplay. The gameplay of Jupiter Hell is your typical roguelike. Basically, each time you start a new run, it generates a new layout to the map and everything that goes in it using a seeded system. When selecting a new run, you can pick what game mode to do and how hard the game is, between easy, medium, their version of normal, hard, and later, when unlocked, ultra violence, and finally, nightmare. Each comes with its own buffs and nerfs to the playstyle of that difficulty. Once you do that, you can choose your class. At the time of this review, there's only 3: Marine, Scout, and Technician. In my playthroughs, I only stuck with the Marine, as when I tried the Scout, I didn't get very far. Finally, you can name the character. Nothing special from what I'm seeing, so you could just use the skip name entry option in the settings. Each class has its own skill trees in which you could dump your perk points into after leveling up. They even come with some activatable skills, but I rarely popped with the Marines since it needs to have pain from being shot to be more effective. Here's where it gets interesting though. Time stops while you're not moving or doing an action. So things like an enemy in your sights will just stare right back at you. If there's an enemy in view, your Marine, since, well, technically it's based on the Doom guy, we'll keep calling him as such, will automatically target it. Once that happens, you have to decide if you want to shoot it or decide to move behind cover to make it harder to be hit. Attacking will have your Marine shoot his gun, and the usual dice roll chance of, did you hit it? Happens here. Things explode in goody and gooey bits and leave their scraps. From here, you can just clear the floor if you want to, or go right to the exit if you can. Chests and special areas give you a reason to look around for more goodies and become stronger. Data terminals gives you clues for events that will come up down the line of your descent, which helps with where should I go. Generally, elevators will only go down. A rare few will come back, which tend to be vault room kind of spaces. A handy feature is on the radar. When there's a few enemies left on the map, it'll show them. And when the map is fully cleared, the name of the floor will turn blue. A subtle hint that I didn't notice at first. Audio. The sound design on this game is music, sound effects, and voice. A lot of the music is stylized on the idea of ripping and tearing, a la Doom. It kicks some ass and would get me pumped if the game was more action-paced than turn-based. The sounds are your typical gunfire, mixed with some sci-fi pew-pews from the laser weapons that you obtain later in the game, and demonic screeching from the non-humanoid enemies that you come across later in the levels. Finally, we have the voice acting. The Marine will make quips and one-liners of things that happen, such as picking up weapons and armor or killing things. Boy's got a mouth, so if you're in a home that doesn't like cussing, you can change it as such in the options. You can even turn down or even turn off the quips and idle remarks here too. A thing I do find odd is if you hit the escape to pause the game, it's not actually paused, as he'll still complain about waiting. The quips also tend to have references to other games too, such as Duke Nukem, Warframe 4K, and of course all the other types of games that you could think of. Hell, there's even a Zork reference in here.
What are we waiting for? Christmas? Blood for the blood god.
Impressions. So, now that I've covered all of this, what do I think of it? Well, my first impressions wasn't all that great. Ooh, don't click away now or go to the comments thanking me for dodging the game. Oh, no, 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 no. So, the CRT stylized interface was a tad jarring, but likable. But the thing that made it annoying at first was there were no hints at how to use the menus, as it didn't do the tutorial at the first launch. It puts you in the main menu, and your first instinct is to try to use your mouse or the WASD to move the cursor. It's actually the arrow keys. The game was designed to play like an old computer game without the mouse. Luckily, it works a tons better with a controller. An odd choice given the dominance of the WASD keys. But, after I ran the tutorial, this design of the game is a bit meh to my eyes. I'd like to see the enemies better, as in what they look like. As it is, they're just pawns on the screen for my dude to shoot into a bloody mess. Doesn't make it any less fun, though. I was told it was based on an older version of the game that was ASCII-based, so I get the idea of the HUD and why the enemies are so forgettable, but it's just that. They're forgettable. Just fodder for my bullets. But honestly, after getting past the initial grit, there is some fun to be had here. Trying new weapons you find and trying to reach the final level, Dante, is fun. There's a number of different weapons that you do find in the game, ranging from pistols to rocket launchers. But honestly, I stuck with the 9mm to 7.62 assault rifles. Pistols are nice, but they got small magazines, and reloading in combat usually isn't a free action. The shotgun sprays death in front of it, but generally only have 1 or 2 shells in the chamber. A run I did before this review, I found a 4-chambered one, but having to reload all of them is a chore and tends to get me shot, even behind cover. Rockets are nice as they cover a huge area with damage, or other modifiers such as toxic gas, but there are also hindrances in a tense moment, and I rarely found a need for it. Melee combat is just no. Stay away from melee combat, personally. It'll get your shit pushed in faster than anything. You can find armor and helms to help give you more status and protection, and other buffs via a rune and a chip mod thingy. You also have a limited inventory space, so picking up too much ammo can really flood it. One run I had 3 red keys and nothing to use them on, which I found weird. Must have been deeper into the game, as I rarely made it past the IO level 2. The difficulty ramp between the first 2 complexes and IO is honestly staggering, as it introduces more mechs and energy weapons, which will rip you up. As I was recording this footage, I actually found a legendary unique rocket launcher that did not need ammo, and it recharged itself after a certain amount of time. This thing was really fun. And it was actually one of the few cases where I actually did decide to use a different weapon than, the one I usually use. My final score for this game will be 8.5 out of 10. The game is fun, gets you thinking, and has some great audio, but learning the controls at first and the sort of underwhelming world and enemy design really pulls me back from wanting to give it a higher score. I will be playing this a lot, though, as I did find it really fun. You probably will catch me playing this on my Twitch channel, which is going to be linked below. I hope you guys pick this up and have some fun too. I appreciate you guys coming by, checking out this review, and supporting me in your own special ways. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and as always, keep it cool, everyone.
Hell, let's do this. Shiny. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.